What's up, guys? This is Matt Singer from ScreenCrush.com, and today we're counting down the top 5 worst movie extras of all time. They have no names. They have no lines. They are background extras. And when they do their job right, they're pretty much invisible. Unfortunately, they don't always do their job right. And when that happens and they call attention to themselves, they can become a huge distraction. Like this dope from Jaws who's super happy about a shark attack. Or this guy from The Dark Knight Rises who falls to the ground even though no one ever hits him. Or how about the stormtrooper who bumps his head in Star Wars? Or this janitor who apparently doesn't understand how a broom works because his never touches the ground while he's sweeping in the background of Quantum of Solace. Now those extras are all bad, but believe it or not, none are bad enough to make our list of the worst ever, which starts officially with number 5, the dog guy from Mr. Nanny. In the early 1990s, comedies about macho dudes who couldn't control adorable little kids were all the rage. There was Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds, and Mr. Nanny with Hulk Hogan. In a bold stroke of casting, the Hulkster plays a former professional wrestler turned bodyguard who's hired to look after a scientist's children. Yes, it's just a lighthearted family film with some goofy gags and a sweet message about— Holy that guy just killed that dog! That's right, in the middle of this montage of Hulk Hogan riding his motorcycle and stroking his handlebar mustache, there's a random shot of a man heaving a dog into the water. Because I guess that's how you get rid of a dog? I don't want this thing anymore. You take him, water! Now, normally turning a children's movie into a doggy snuff film would rate higher on a list like this. But unless Mr. Nanny was a much weirder and sicker movie than I remember, this guy wasn't paid to throw the dog in the water. He just happened to be attempting dogicide at the exact moment the World Wrestling Federation champion cruised by on his hog. So technically, he's less of a bad extra and more of a bad dog murderer who let his crime get recorded on film and then released into 1,200 theaters around the country. Lucky for him, no one actually saw Mr. Nanny, because if they had, this evidence could have probably gotten him into some serious trouble with the law. Alright, here's number 4, the frozen kids from Everything Must Go. In this 2010 drama, Will Ferrell plays an alcoholic who decides to sell all of his possessions in a massive yard sale. Looking at all this stuff makes him nostalgic, so he goes to visit an old friend played by Laura Dern. Watch their interaction and pay careful attention to Laura Dern's kids.
Yeah, I got a couple decent jobs. I got to do a TV commercial with Brad Pitt. It was cool. We were in the desert.
Laura Dern's character may have studied acting, but I don't think her kids have. Why the hell are they sitting there completely still? I also love the fact that Laura Dern is looking at the kids and is just totally unfazed by the fact that they seem to have gotten unstuck in time. Oh yeah, the kids do this occasionally. It's a crazy game they play. They want to be living statues someday. Yeah, like the ones in Times Square. I told them, if you want to be a living statue, it takes a lot of practice. Anyway, back to the time I made a commercial with Brad Pitt. This feels like the sort of inexplicable, bizarre moment that Will Ferrell might do for a laugh, except Everything Must Go is Will Ferrell's serious movie. So this is definitely not a high-concept joke, more like a highly suspect acting choice. Next up, number 3, the gun-shy kid from North by Northwest. Mr. Nanny, Everything Must Go, these are not exactly masterpieces of world cinema, and it's not super shocking that productions of this caliber might have a little snafu or canine murder here or there. But North by Northwest is considered a classic. This is Alfred Hitchcock we're talking about, the master of suspense, one of the greatest directors of all time. But even he was not immune to the scourge of bad background acting. Watch the kid in the blue shirt behind Ava Marie Saint. He's either read the script or he has mind powers and can predict the future. Man, what is it with these child actors and their crappy background acting? This kid is a walking spoiler alert. It's like that famous quote from W.C. Fields, "Never work with children or animals, unless you're going to make the children sit totally still or you're going to drown the animals." On to number 2, the Flasher from Teen Wolf. Okay, Now things are gonna get really weird. Here's a scene from the end of the 80s classic Teen Wolf. Michael J. Fox's character, Roger Teen Wolf, has just won the big basketball game, and everyone in town is celebrating. Then the camera pulls back to a wide shot where just behind Michael J. Fox and his dad, you see this. Okay, it's not the highest quality clip in the world, but it sure looks like that extra exposes himself on camera. To be fair, who among us hasn't gotten so excited at the end of a high school basketball game that we pulled down our pants and showed our junk to the world? I mean, we've all been there, right? Right? Anyway, the story's not over. For years, this Teen Wolf flasher was the stuff of internet legend. Did this guy really sneak his peen into a major Hollywood film without anyone noticing? People debated for years, until someone found a better copy of the scene that showed more of the background and revealed he wasn't a he at all. He was a she. So that at least resolves the question of did he or didn't he. But it doesn't negate the fact that this woman was still wandering through the background of Teen Wolf with her pants undone. How did she screw that up? You had one job, Teen Wolf Extra Lady. You keep your pants on. You couldn't even do that. Now it's time for our number one worst movie extra of all time, Doc Brown's pervy son from Back to the Future Part 3. Man, poor Michael J. Fox, always getting upstaged by bad extras. At the end of Back to the Future Part 3, after he spent 2 entire movies trying to fix the time stream and return to Hill Valley 1985, he finally gets his happy ending when this happens. It's not the pointing at the crotch that gets me. It's the hand beckoning you closer. Psst, come here. I want to tell you a secret. My penis! Now, according to the internet, which is never wrong, the poor kid had to go to the bathroom really bad, and this was the way he decided to alert the crew. To which I imagine Christopher Lloyd responded, "Bathroom breaks? Where we're going, we don't need bathroom breaks." If that's true, it begs the question. If this was the best take, what the hell did this kid do in the other takes? Did he give the camera the middle finger? Start worshiping Satan in the middle of the scene? I guess it could be worse. At least he didn't pull his pants down like the Teen Wolf lady. For Screen Crush, I'm Matt Singer. Thanks for watching, and for even more, make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.